Greetings. Hello, hello, hello. I hope we have everyone with us tonight. I just want to tell you, my name is Jeanette Boyd. I am your instructor for HASS University for this evening, and I hope that we bring you a broad amount of information. Before we get started, I do want to take a moment and tell you a little bit about me. I've been a model for 4 years. I'm here out of the Raleigh, North Carolina area. A little bit about my background is, let's see, I started out, I've been in countless fashion shows, ranging all up and down the East Coast. My goal is to one day make it to the West Coast and do at least one fashion show. I'm still waiting for that perfect show to pop up on the radar. With that said, I've also worked for Vogue Modeling out of Florida, and I've also been an employee of theirs where I was a talent associate. I can tell you, working behind the scenes, you actually get to see and get exposed to a lot of information from a management level to understand what you're looking for and how to promote a model and so forth. One of the other things, I've been in magazines. I've been in 11 magazines in this time period. I've been on the cover, I've been on the back, and I've been centerfold. I've had this opportunity to work with amazing photographers in the area, as well as other locations. So again, I just hope that you understand that what I bring to you is not just textbook material. This is actually information that I personally can tell you that I've gone through some foul up bleeps and blunders. But again, at the end of the day, if you want to be a model and you understand your why, it will all come together for you. It doesn't have to make sense right away, but it will make sense when it's time. I will tell you, I've been a part of countless photo shoots. I think that's kind of my strength, and that's what I'll continue to spend a lot of time in. So it does my heart great pleasure to be not only a HASS University instructor, I am also a HASS entertainment model. So this is my very first contract. I can tell you I've been a freelance model for the entire time. So this is pretty new to me. And so far it's been amazing. So again, I am very, very aware of how to maneuver behind the scenes without an agency. And that's very important for every model to be able to do. I'm going to begin with the slides that we have in mind for you all today. And it is really focused on model, you being a model, and how to prepare yourself for being a model. What are the things that you need to look for? What are the things you need to prepare for? So we're hoping today that you get a vast of information about, are you ready for an agency? Some models haven't signed on, so we won't assume that everyone that's on this particular recording is actually signed on to an agency. Is an agency what you need? Again, I will have to tell you from my personal experience. I did not start out with an agency. I was a freelance model, which means I am my own model. And I was able to make all of the connectivities and all the different connections with different types, the models, the photo shoots, the photographers, the fashion show, the designers. So that's all knowing how to communicate, how to reach out, what to say, what not to say. All of that is I'm proud to say that I learned that all on my own. And I'm very proud that HASS University material actually supports all the things that I've experienced. So again, I would like to thank them for taking the time to prepare the PowerPoint slides that I'm going to take you all through because they are in alignment with exactly what I would say if I was using my own material. What to expect from an agency. That's something also that's important. You have to really understand the business before you really start trying to, think about an agency, because they're going to have expectations of you and you're going to need to be able to fulfill it. It's almost like saying, you might need to know how to drive before you get a car. Some people do it the other way around. It can happen, but it just makes it so much easier when you could just jump in the vehicle and just go. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just going to take a quick pause for half a second just to make sure that we have all of our participants that's going to join us. In the meantime, I will open it up. Is there anyone that has any questions so far about the material that I've just discussed with you? Okay, I'll keep talking about myself for a few more minutes. Hi, Shaniqua. So for me, I just want to make sure that you all know I am married. I don't have children. I have 2 dogs. I have 3 stepchildren. So I stay pretty busy. I have a full-time job. I'm a program manager during the day. So I stay pretty busy. And as most of you, you know, this is kind of secondary. However, modeling is secondary. However, it is not, you know, less than the other things that you put in your life. So we're going to progress. I think this is a good sign that we have all of our participants joining us thus far. We're going to move on to, as a model, you should have. As a model, there are certain criteria that you should just automatically have. As a model myself, I have a model bag that I am always prepared with. That's number one. We'll cover that in a different portion. But right now, you know, as a model, as we stated before, you have to understand what is your purpose for modeling. And once you understand and know and have identified what your purpose is, whatever it is, you then have to create a plan of action. When you create your plan of action, that's going to give you your layout as to what you want to do first, what you want to do second, what you want to do third. If you don't have a plan of action written out, let me tell you, the world is so grand, it will have you all over the place. You will find yourself doing things that you probably hadn't planned for. You will find yourself looking for a plan and you don't have one. You'll find yourself reaching out to people or people reaching out to you, and you will find that you may be straying very far from what initially brought you to this industry. So please, like with anything, create a plan of action. Set realistic goals. Set realistic dates. When I say that, I would say a plan of action would be more of your step-by-step. First, I'm going to, you know, do a photo shoot. With those photos that come out of that shoot, I'm going to submit those to a magazine. Once that comes out in the magazine, then I'm going to promote that magazine on my social media. Come up with a plan of action. Everything you do as a model, you should have an action plan and you should follow through on it. Confidence. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the most beautiful models. And they can fit in any environment. They can do whatever the job needs to be done. If it's marketing outfit, if it's showcasing, you know, for a beautician, whatever it is, they can do it. But the reality of it is their confidence. When you lack confidence, it shows in your pictures. When you do a photo shoot, it's going to show in your photos. Your confidence has to be beyond the sky because you have to be able to let people see who you are. If you're shy and you're a model, those two just don't go hand in hand. It will cripple you. It will limit you as to how many designers want to work with you. And when I say this, confidence is not being flamboyant. I'm not saying go out and, you know, do cartwheels down the runway, but there is a decorum that, you know, you should fall into. So I would say confidence is important for you to have as a model. Persistence. There are going to be so many doors that's going to close in your face. There's going to be so many times you thought that you were lined up to be the next model in line and that you were going to do it. This is your time. This is your time to shine. And it's just not going to happen. For whatever reason, maybe someone's been in the game a little bit longer than you. Maybe their model resume is a little bit healthier and deeper than yours. Maybe they're a little bit shaped. Maybe they're shaped a better shape than what you may have. Maybe they are taller. Maybe they're shorter. Maybe their hair is shorter. Maybe their hair is longer. Whatever the case, which 9 times out of 10, you really are never going to know why someone picked this person over that person. It usually isn't divulged to the industry. Those are kind of things that management talk about behind the scenes. So you never really get a chance to tailor that, to adjust it, to fix it, because you are never really going to understand why. The real portion of this is you must stay persistent. You must be persistent in what you want. You have to revisit your why and then stick to it. Yeah, you're going to trip over your own feet a couple of times, but that's okay. You're going to get back up and you're going to go back out there and keep doing this. Prime example, I was in a competition, and I'll make it quick because I don't want to get too far over here. But I will tell you, I was in a competition, and I just knew that I was going to be at least the top 3. Why? Because I felt good. I felt confident. But let me tell you what it was. I wasn't confident when I walked out there on that runway when we started this competition. I didn't get comfortable until midway to the end. And that's where I felt my strength. I placed 5th place. But I really felt like had I went out there with that same confidence that I went out there with in the end and nailed it, if I had started with that, could I have changed my rankings? I could have, maybe. But it was a lessons learned. At that point, I could have said, hey, I'm done with this. I really wanted to be the top 3, but I was one of the top 5, and that's just not good enough for me because I've done my time. I've been around a while. I really think, no. What you may be experiencing sometimes is you may be I look at it, maybe I was a 5 because maybe I need to push myself to the next level. Maybe I need to get my confidence built up, meaning maybe I need to do more fashion shows. Maybe I need to do more photo shoots. Maybe I need to start negotiating and talking to designers myself and understanding what time the fashion shows, what do you need from the model? What do I have to have that day? Maybe I need to do that. When I get there, then it's like, okay, I was persistent. I didn't give up. I'm here. Now let's go do this show. So you'll find that once you get that, you'll be good. Determination. Again, like any other sport, I can't tell you enough, any other sport, any industry, if you want something, you've got to be determined to go get it. You've got to want it for yourself. You're not going to be, most of the time, let me just clear this up, most of the time, if not 99% of the time, you're not going to get support from your family. I know, you wasn't even ready for that. You're not even going to get support from your people on your job. But they love me. Yeah, not supporting you. But they want to know everything that's going on. They're just not going to be your support system. So keep that in mind. You've got to be your own determination has to be inside you because people are not going to support you. If you look up and you do have that support system, kudos. But in the real life, in realistic portion of most hobbies, most side gigs, most of these things, unless you're bringing in big money, most people aren't going to support you until they start seeing you do well in that industry for yourself. So I would say again, determination. So you can give up, but guess what? If this is what your why is and your heart is, you're going to come right back to it. So I say this, If you're going to give up in the beginning. Don't give up in the middle. If you're going to give up, don't give up every week and get back in it, because you're just wearing yourself down. So I would say get in it, stay determined, stay hungry, and keep going. There are millions of models everywhere, and you know it as well as I do. But the key part is not the one that looks the best. It's the one that is determined. I'm going to stay in the game. I'm going to stay in. That's it. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me, and that's what I'm going to do. So once you decide all of that, just stay determined. You know, you can't be weak at every shoulder that comes by. I don't know if I want to stay. People aren't going to support you. They're going to say, okay, well, you know, why don't you go into babysitting? You know, no. So long story short, discipline. The next one is discipline. It is so important for a model to have discipline. I can't tell you how many times I've run into models that, and I could probably share one of the stories with you. One of the models, you're always going to be in a group of models, okay? So again, get your confidence up. When you get in your groups, when you go for your fashion shows and behind the scenes and you're trying on outfits, this is not the time to lose your confidence. You're among 10 to 30 to 40 females back there dressing and undressing. They're beautiful ladies. And if you're just, you know, if your confidence isn't in place, it's easy to be shook. It really is. So I would tell you, be disciplined, because two stories happened to me. I was scheduled to walk for a designer, 2 designers in the show. So for me, I was relaxed. I knew 2 shows. So once I found out the order that the models were going out in, what brands were going out, I knew I had a little time to relax. So I did. You know, when you're behind those scenes in those fashion shows, you've got to carry yourself like a professional behind stage. This is not the time to gossip. This is not the time to laugh at someone's shoes. This isn't high school. This is not the time to you know, redo your hair just because. This is not the time to you know, this is your time. You're supposed to be ready. I am ready. Whatever that designer throw at me, I'm ready to put it on. And the 2 things I'm not worried about is my hair and my makeup, because it's already done. Only thing I need to know is what garment you're putting me on, and do I have the proper undergarments to go under it. Again, that's packing your model bag properly. We'll cover that a little bit later. So again, now that's not all you need. You need your personality. You need your personality to be professional. You need to know how to wait. You need to know how to hold your thoughts. Sometimes we as people, we may see something, we may say something, and the next thing you know, we have said those things out loud. And once you put that out in that energy out in the air, people hear you. People repeat what you say. So, and that can make or break your opportunity to work with that designer before again. With that said, I would tell you I was in DC, New York Fashion Week, and we were all behind stage. And I had 2 outfits that I had prepared, or they had prepared for me. And I knew it wasn't my time to be queued up. And I just wanted to just take a moment and just relax, just take in everything. I just kind of sat on my suitcase and just kind of was, you know, relaxing. This fashion designer had a lady to come and try on her dress, and the dress was so long. She was like, oh no, you can't wear it, it's too long. And she looked at me and she said, you come here, you try this on. I put that dress on, and I'm going to tell you, it's not a dress I would have picked for myself, but that's a different story. But I could see that workmanship that she had put into it, and I could tell that the designer really loved that dress. And then she put me on this hat, and she said, oh, this was my mother's dress, and this is this, and we put this, and she put me all together. And I could feel that she was really passionate about that attire. For me, that was a huge moment because that gave me another session of I can go back out on the runway. Not only did I go back out on the runway, but she wanted, this was her prize attire. So I actually got to go out last and walk beside her wearing that particular attire. So again, discipline. Had I been one of those people that were chatty, running around, talking about I'm hungry, what I didn't eat, da 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 da, I don't know if I would have got that opportunity. And it didn't help. And it did help that I had height. So with that, I'm going to come to a pause for a hot second and ask, do you have any questions before I proceed to the next 4 topics? Anyone? Don't be shy. Because we're over the shyness. We're family now. Okay, no questions? Okay. Everyone ready to proceed? Okay. The next thing I think as a model must have imagination. And the imagination is, you really have to kind of get yourself in a zone of imagining what you picture yourself as, what you see yourself as, and try to fulfill that in your modeling career. This is ultimately about you. So I can't really say, I can't take your imagination and make it mine. I have to have my own ideas of what looks good on me. What do I see myself in? Do I really want to do a photo shoot like this? Do I really want to be in a fashion show like that? So all of those things actually does play a part. And I would say, please have an imagination. There may be a time there may be a time that someone may ask you, where do you see yourself in this particular background or this particular picture? Feel free to explore yourself. I think that's the wonderful thing about modeling, is that you are not pigeonholed into any particular look, any particular type. The sky's the limit. You just have to pick what works for you and stick to it. Professional attitudes. We touched on that a little bit earlier, but again, I can't tell you how important a professional attitude will take you so much further. In modeling industry is just as similar to going to a real job. Your personality, your people skills, that's going to take you further than sometimes even a degree or a college, degree or a master's or a bachelor's. Sometimes just a good personality, professional attitude, that is something you always want to have in your description. If someone was to describe you, would they even be able to say that you have a professional attitude? When I say professional, I mean when there's time that you are in mixed crowds where there are potential people that could book you for a gig or can be a part of, ask you to be a part of a red carpet review. Are you professional enough in yourself to make someone interested enough to see you across the room and say, hey, I want you to come over here. Can you get on the red carpet with me? See, all of that is projected when you step into a room. People are seeing you. They are judging you. They're sizing you up. As a model, that's what people do. And it's important for you to give your best image of yourself. If you're with other models, again, you want to still give your best image of yourself. Not that high school giggly, high five, girl, this, that, and the third. That's not going to get you anywhere. But if you conduct yourself as a young lady, as a young man, and you just say, hey, I'm here to work, I'm here to, that if someone called me to be on the red carpet, I can handle this moment. Okay? Good work ethics. Good work ethics, I'm going to tell you, is so important in this industry. You know, there's going to be times you're going to be booked. There's going to be times you're going to have to go out onto a situation, a photo shoot, or an advertisement promotion, and they're expecting you to show up. Everything that they have seen about you on your comp card, that's who they're looking for to show up. So if you get there late, 30 minutes late, you know, they may say, hey, we found somebody else that we like, that we already picked someone else. Maybe it was the lady that was over there, you know, taking out the trash. And they say, hey, our person, our model we're waiting on is taking too long. Do you think if I put you in a different outfit and combed your hair a little bit different, would you be interested in being in this promotional shot? How awesome would that be? But you lose the gig. What if you were getting paid $500, $1,000, $2,000 to be there, but you're late? So now you forfeited your money. So good work ethics. If someone, and I could tell you another scenario, if someone booked you to do something, follow up with the person who booked you. Yes, that's how you get your gigs. You follow up with the person who brought you there. One of the things I have seen in my career, and it was a turnoff to the person who brought the model there. The model went beyond the taping of a live show, and afterwards she went on to even say, hey, photographer, can I get your name and number? I'd like to work with you on a photo shoot, and I'd like to do this and that with you. And the person who got her the gig was totally disappointed. And he said, I promise you, she will never work with me again. She will not work with my photographer because he's my photographer. I'm the one who pays him. He said, but I didn't like the way she went behind my back and tried to negotiate with him. All she had to do is come directly to me, and I would have booked this for her, or I would have made it easy for her. He says, so I share that to say, good work ethics. Know the protocol. Know who you're working with. Know the way they think before you just start hobnobbing with everyone, trying to get a gig, trying to work. There are steps, there are layers to this thing, and I will guarantee you, if you follow the right protocol, you will always get in the door. So the next thing I would say, how I found my first gig, I will be honest with you. My first gig was being in an actual fashion show that was a competition. I came straight from sitting on a couch. It's a funny story, but before that, I have to tell you, I was going through some things at work before I got into modeling. And like any job, there's some hectic moments. And I used to come home and tell my husband, I'll give you the quick story, and tell my husband about the way they said this and she said that, and I don't know. And he said, Jeanette, you should think about it like a model. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, when you see a model on a runway, they walk forward. Their head is straight. They walk forward and they don't look back. They go forward. Everything on the side, they don't pay any attention to it. They just walk. They get the job done, and that's it. And I said, So that continued on for a couple of weeks. And one day, I don't know, somewhere somebody had an idea that they could be a model, a real model. So I said, self said, maybe maybe I should really kind of explore this modeling thing just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. And I did. I looked on Facebook and I actually found Vogue Supermodel competition. Now, I've never been a model. I've never been in a fashion show. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get up off this couch and I'm going to put on a little outfit and with some heels and I'm going to audition. And I got my very first gig there. So that's where I placed 5th place, coming right off of the couch into a competition. And because I placed 5th place, it was not enough to say hooray, but it was enough for me to say, I think I like it enough to get better at it. So that was my first, I would say that was my first gig. That was my first experience. And the bug bit me, and I've just been going ever since. At that point, as a freelance model, I've just been reaching out to different people, different places, and understanding what the criterias are. Do I meet them? Have I met them? Let me pull together my comp card. So that's how I started out. And then the last thing, which is basically what I've just said, networking and social skills, is really about communicating. Communicate with the people what you want to do. That's the most important portion. When I say communicate, I don't mean go and tell someone your whole life story. Networking, social skills, I don't mean tell them your whole why you want to be a model. Your first thing should be really kind of exploring, do they have an opportunity? Are you looking for more models in that fashion show? If you are, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to? Because 9 times out of 10, the person you run into is usually not the person who can decide if you can be in the fashion show or not. And follow through each one. Hey, they sent me over here to you. And that person may say, hey, I just coordinate the lights. I don't do any of that. Do you know who I need to talk to? And they, talk to the lady over in the red shirt. Okay, I'm going to talk to the lady in the red shirt. Don't know her name, but hey, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Jeanette Boyd. I am actually a model. I'm here. I'm available if you need more models. Usually at every fashion show, there's at least 2 to 3 models that will not show up for whatever reason. So I just want to make sure that, you guys know there is usually an opportunity in every instance to sell yourself. So even if it's at the end of that show, wow, this was such a great show, fashion producer, if you have another one, could you keep me in mind? Because I love the way this outcome was. So it's just about negotiating and talking and seeing what's needed. Are there any questions before I move on to the next, which is we're going to talk a little bit more about plan of action? We'll give you a few moments. Any thoughts? If you don't have any questions, do you have any thoughts? Do you have any experiences in that you'd like to share? Okay. So basically, going back, those are the things we were going to discuss. I went through that list, but with that list, now let's tie this to some real academic material. I've given you a little bit of my understanding, my breakdown, and now I want to tie some real information to it for you, okay? So, plan of action. In order to be a model, you must first define what type of model you are, what type of market you represent. The most important thing is to know what you have to offer an agency and companies who provide service for your specific category. Again, there are several different types of models. You have to identify which one you are. I'm going to, because we're friends here, right? We can talk. We're going to talk because we're girls, right? Okay. So I see a lot of models on social media that actually start out as one type of model. And I'm going to say in my genre, curvy model. When I say curvy model, I say curvy. Some call it full figure. Some call it plus size. It's a couple of names. But the key part is they start out in one type of modeling. And then you see they'll switch over to implied nude or nude. And it just doesn't, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it doesn't fit for a perfect package. If you're selling yourself, you want to show a lot of what you're strong at. And I'm going to say, if you are better in runway, and that's okay. You may be an amazing runway walker. Focus on that. Build on that. Do it. If you are better at modeling itself, or photo shoots is what I'm saying. Do that. Focus on being a great photo shoot in photo shoots. Understand how your body movement, what type of body movements you want. If you are better at, saying, hey, I'm just good at, whatever it is, whatever you're good at, stick to it. Because when you stick to it, you build a package. When you build your package, then you can elaborate a little bit outside of the box to show that you have versatility. But I will say, make whatever it is that you do and you do it well, you nail that. Nail that first, okay? So that's my thought on that. Confidence. Confidence is key. It is so key. When you walk into a room, again, it's not how many people are going to like me, right? Is I'm okay if nobody does. That's the key. When you walk in and you present that person, and it's not a cocky or arrogant personality, it is just confidence. It is easy spirit. It is, I love who I am. And regardless of how fabulous you look, how fabulous he looks, it doesn't matter, because I'm confident in my own skin that I've done enough work on me that says, I don't need to blend in. I don't need to stand out. I just go in and be myself and be confident in who I am, period. Period. So anyway, I say modeling and acting is a competitive industry. It really, really is. You're more likely you will not get your first gig. You must have the confidence, not just the personality. So long story short is, you've got to have the confidence to get those gigs, because there could be someone else that has that confidence, and that's the one. I'm going to give you a thought. Every time you look at the TV commercial, have you ever seen a TV commercial where the actor looked like they wasn't sure what they were doing? Not one. Not one. Because they have to give that confidence. They have to show, I know what I'm saying. I know my lines. I know where I'm going to nail it. I don't know if the other person's going to do theirs, but I know I got mine. I studied, I reviewed, I'm ready, right? So you want to just exude confidence. Again, not arrogance, confidence. Confidence saying, and confidence. And you say, well, Jeanette, where do you get confidence from? I wake up in the morning and I'm confident. You get your confidence from doing your research. And I would say, do your own research. Don't listen to someone else that says, hey, I did the research. The fashion show is over here. It's going to do this. And they're going to do your own research. I'm working with this person. I've never heard of them before. Let me ask somebody, hey, have you worked with this person? No, I think you shouldn't work with them. No, do your own research. Go to google.com, put in that name, put in that company name, and you see the reviews that come back. I can't tell you how many photographers I've had to do that for. I can't tell you how many let me be clear. This is my first contract I've signed. This is the 5th contract. No, I've denied 5 contracts prior to signing with Antonio. So if that tells you something, I don't just sign because someone offers me a contract. You see what I'm saying? Do your research on that contract. Get an attorney. If you don't know what the words are, if the jargon is too big, the legal define, get you an attorney. It's worth $100. That's all I'm saying. Do your own research. Understand what you're signing. Understand what it is that you're doing. I've had one group that once told me they have been in business for 30 years. He's the only Black modeling agency that's been around 30 years. Impressive. First thing I thought. But I said, self, and self said, let's do some research. So I went to Google. Now, this gentleman told me he was in 3 different major states. When I went to Google, I found 5. Then I went to the BBB, Better Business Bureau, typed it in. So there was a couple of inquiries from models about paying their money and not getting what they were supposed to get. And then I saw that there was only 2 states that he was in. Now, based on the BBB, based on Google, I didn't see 30 years. Don't get me wrong. There was 8. There was 8, but that's not 30. So that was a sign for me to pay attention to what people are saying that they do or they have done. Research it. Make sure you understand what is at stake, who they work with, how they work with, opposed to hearing all of the, oh yes, I'm an agency and I can have you working for Ford, on Ford, and we do billboards with, Gucci and da-da-da. Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great. But he never produced me one model that I could talk to that confirmed what he was saying and what he didn't say. Is it a good company? I don't know. But I wasn't going to take my chance and let him find out with me. So I'm not saying that it probably wouldn't have been a good deal. It's just something that if you're not looking legitimate on paper, how in the world are you going to be looking great on me doing business with you? The third point to that particular story is the gentleman was not very professional in speaking with me. He was very comfortable in his over-the-top personality that I was actually a little turned off. And I was just like, I don't know if that's somebody I want to work with on a daily. It was really over the top. So I would say, again, keep that in mind. Confidence, as well as do your research, not my research, do yours, okay? Persistence, a little bit more about persistence. Let me tell you, Denzel Washington will always say this thing time and time again. Fall down 9 times and get up 10. You're not going to make it from the top. You're not going to make it the first time. You're going to trip over your own feet the second time. Something is going to happen and you're not going to be able to make it the third time. But let me tell you, you keep trying, you keep doing it. You stay true to who you are. You stay true to what you want and go do it. Just be persistent. You already know what will happen if you gave up. Do you know what would happen if you stayed? Yeah. Nobody knows. That's why you have to stay, to figure it out. So I'm going to pause here for a few seconds and ask, do anyone have any questions? Because I'm having a ball over here. Somebody asked me something. Oh. Hello, Kemma. How are you? Okay. I'm going to move on. I think you ladies are ready to learn some stuff. We ready? Okay. I spoke earlier about an imagination, right? Well, let's tie it back to the textbook imagination. I told you mine. Here is theirs. An imagination. The modeling and acting industry is extremely competitive. You must use your imagination to stand out. Let me tell you, if you look like me and I look like you, there is no difference between you and I when we go on to that set. There's no difference between your style and my style. So this is what I would say. Know your style. Stick to it. For example, I love that hippie look. The messy dress and the beads and, the different colors you put together and the big earrings, the peace, power to your sister. I love that look, but that's not me. You see what I mean? I could do it, but it's not me. My soul doesn't connect with that. So I'm not going to do a very good job. All it's going to take is for a person to walk in that's authentic. For example, I'm going to just throw one name out there, like a Erykah Badu, and you're going to immediately see which one's the imposter, right? So that's why I would say, do what makes you feel good. Do you. Be authentic to yourself. The other thing I would say, and this has come up again, the modeling and acting industry is extremely competitive. I can't tell you how competitive it is. It is, and it can be really grimy. I'm just telling you. There's mud gets slung, okay? But the key part is learning to be smart enough to stay out the way of the mud slinging, learning how to fall back when you need to, learning to when it's time to assert your opinion or your feedback, and knowing who your audience, who are you speaking to. Sometimes who you're speaking to may have connections with someone you're speaking about that can help you get through the door of a different location. So I would say be very smart. Stay on your P's and stay on your Q's. I don't know if I shared it with you. At one point I was a pageant contestant for Miss Full Figure North Carolina in 2018. And we competed. We started out with 22 contestants. I will tell you, pageantry is definitely different from modeling. But half of the contestants were models or had taken on the model genre. So I would say that it got really competitive in there because a lot of the ladies knew each other. And they knew each other from the modeling world, and they knew the conversations that were had or been said about them behind their back by other contestants, which caused a little rift. It really did. We lost about three contestants within the first 2 weeks of an 8-month span before the actual competition date. And then even up to the competition date, I think we lost another 5. So, and most of all of that was nothing more than personality, and just the stress of being competitive, and the mess that goes on if you allow it to. I personally figured out how to dodge that, how to separate myself from this stuff, and how to still try to get the most benefit out of the courses and the classes I was supposed to, the workshops. So that's important. If you allow yourself to get tied up into anything and you just forget yourself and just say, hey, I'm just, today the wind is blowing left and tomorrow the wind is blowing right. If you allow yourself to get caught up in that, you're going to be all over the place. But when you have your confidence and you know who you are and you know what you came to the pageant for, you're going to stick to that and you're going to do that and you're going to say, hey, I'm supposed to learn something in this workshop, and whatever I'm supposed to learn in this workshop, I'm going to get it, whether the other people get it or not, whether they're paying attention or not, whether they're eating and playing and hopscotch. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And sure enough, I have to say I did not win, but I was first runner-up for Miss North Carolina Exquisite. I also brought home the crown for uh, swimsuit, and I brought home the crown for most photogenic. So again, had I allowed all those other things that was irrelevant to take over my mindset, I don't think I could have prepared that day for the competition. On top of that, I will share this with you. Professionalism. It goes so long. I would tell you, even at this pageant in the back, the day of the competition, there was so much adrenaline going from everybody. And they just kept saying, Jeanette, you know, the ladies were just amped up. Oh, we're hungry. Oh, we got to eat. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. I mean, it was chaos, beyond chaos. Yes, yes. And it was so much. And it was like, the key part was professionalism. People kept saying, Jeanette, when are you going to change into your dress? Jeanette, when are you going to put your makeup on? And they saw a relaxed Jeanette. I was calm. I was relaxed. I was there to compete, but they were not my competition. My competition was sitting outside out there. Those are the people I had to convince that I was the right person for that particular title. So I didn't get caught into all of that stuff. So when the tears start flowing back there and everything, yes, and when the tears start going and the excitement and the profanity and all of that stuff started getting heated up, again, all I knew was one thing: remain professional, remain happy. I see it, but I'm not going to speak on it. I saw what that person just did, but I'm not going to speak on it because that's none of my business. I'm here to prepare. My makeup artist is right here. She's about to put my makeup on. And that was what got me through. At the end, when you look back and I say, am I proud of myself for remaining professional? Absolutely. And you know what else? When I see those people in the street, when I see those people at other situations, at model fashion shows and so forth, I still feel good to say, hey, I didn't get caught up in that. It could have, but I didn't, because that's not who I am. Regardless what's going on, that's not who I am. And that's not who you are. Hello, beautiful. So I would say professionalism is very important. Your audition starts with your social media profile and it ends when the show is published. So again, people are watching you. And I'm going to give you another tip. And you guys will probably think I'm rattling on, but I have to tell you, the one thing I try to train the models that have worked under me, I've held classes for models. I even have models that reach out to me that says, hey, can you work with me? I've got a fashion show coming up and can you help me with my walk? And the one thing I try to share with them, which is so important, when you walk out there on that runway, when you turn around and you come back, you're still on display until you step off, not just off that stage, out of the way of the crowd seeing you. So what I'm saying is, most models will get to the end of that runway, turn around, and once they get midway, they fall out of character. They change from a model walking down the runway to just a woman walking down the grocery store aisle. It's like, okay, it's over. No, they're still watching you. They can still see you. You still got on your outfit. You've got to turn around one last time and give them your final pose before you walk off. So long story short, you're always on display. Your Facebook, your social media is always on display. Another thing I would tell you about social media is if you're having a bad day, we all do have a bad day, right? Sometimes more often than none here lately with this COVID-19. But I will say this, if you're having a bad day and you need to rant, that's one thing. But there's a way to rant. And this is what I would say. Rant in a positive way. Try that. Nothing wrong with saying, oh, my tire went flat and my car just ran off the road and da-da-da, and I hate when people cut me off and da-da-da. But get all of that out and finish it with something positive. But I'm still living. I still live to tell about it. Personality. That's what it's about. You're letting people say, hey, that tire, that flat tire didn't change her world that day. It's bigger things. So learn to rant, but rant in a positive way to say, hey, I'm not going to allow that to change who I am, but I do have to deal with that tire. And I was late for the place. But so all I'm saying is be constructive in your rant. Be careful how you're ready to defame a company or somebody. And when I say company, I mean some McDonald's or be careful because people see that. When I say people, I'm talking about people who manage and produce fashion shows. They're seeing your personality. They're going to hire you because of your personality. They already see your body. They already know what you're shaped like. You're the person I want. Now, do I want that personality? If I know that I can have you, but I got to deal with that personality of the sassy girl, don't talk to me that way, be ready, what'd you say? If you got to be one of those people, most people are kind of like, nah, that's not quite who I want. I want a model that's going to work well with the models I already been working with. They're going to come in and blend in. They're not going to come in and take over. They're not going to come in and fall back and be too shy. I need them to come in and make me forget that they haven't been on the team as long as the other ladies. That's it. I'm going to pause for a half a second. I've been talking and talking, and we're already at the top of the hour. I'm going to wrap it up here shortly. So here we go. I'm not even going to ask questions right now. I'm going to keep it moving. Great work ethics. Again, be on time, be helpful, be friendly, and network, be social. Again, social skills. Remember, this is a job. Be social, but keep it professional. The last thing you want to do is to be that lady, the model that came in and sat over in the corner with her arms folded, waiting for instructions. No, nobody's going to tell you anything. Determination. Understand your goals and work your plan. Write it down. Talk to someone. Get a mentor. Talk to someone and say, hey, what should I be doing next? I've done this. What should I do next? Okay, now what do I do next? And now let me break that down. This is the topic I'm going to do. Now here's 3 action items I got to get done to that task. And that's it. And I have to say, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Do you have any questions for me tonight before we wrap up? Because I have no more information unless you ask. Anyone? Okay. I haven't heard anything. So therefore, I'm going to say this has been my time. You all have been amazing. I'm excited. I'm still excited. And I'm glad that you all have been here. It's good to see some of my model friends that's still a part of this as well with me. We're going to go through this journey together. We'll be back on Monday at 7 p.m. Have a good day.